Can Labour really cure the housing problem? They want to build 1 million new homes in the first 5 years. 500 of them houses will be made for council tenants. Now that may sound ambitious, but is it possible? Official figures from the Department for Communities and Local Government show that in 2015, 118,760 homes were completed during that year. That is an increase of 8% on the previous year, but far below the 250,000 most experts say are needed to begin to tackle the country's housing crisis. So by going by that statistic, it certainly does seem like it can't be done. But building the amount of houses that Labour want to will increase jobs to the trades needed to build them. For me, this is a consequence of the right to buy brought in. As I've said before, people have made fortunes in days gone by from selling their houses after buying them from the council. Labour also want to end this as well. As a result of rents from social housing falling and payments disappearing from council's budget, one could argue the replacement for that came in a way as a high charge each month in the shape of council tax. If these houses are to be built, that would in turn increase the financial state of local councils. Would that mean then reducing, albeit slightly, payments to council tax? Some people, and I know some, including me in the past, have struggled to make these payments. I know some that still are. The private rent sector can be a money pit for some. I am in that sector as a tenant, but I have to say I am one of the lucky ones. Our landlord is an absolute dream. But some aren't, and the prices that some pay just gradually spiral out of control. So much so that there are a record number of homeless families due to landlords increasing rents to quite often a ridiculous amount. 15,170 households were classed as homeless in the 3 months leading to June last year. A third of that number were subject to an end of an assured short-hold tenancy. Now, according to The Guardian, that has become the single most cause of homelessness in the UK. That and cuts to housing benefit. In short, some private sector landlords and the fact that there are no guidelines in regards to price hikes and the reduction of housing benefit, they are playing with people's lives. The same happened to me. There was evidence that one of my ex-landlords had been overpaid by the council on housing benefit. He said he hadn't, issued an eviction notice, and I was out. The council said they couldn't do nothing about it. I was effectively homeless. The figures also show that 73,120 households were in temporary accommodation, up 9% on the year earlier, although that is something, as I was told, that the councils try and stay away from, instead offering hostels. At the time of my eviction, I was unemployed, and one member of staff from what they call the crisis team said I would be better off looking for another house in the private rent sector. Go figure. However, out of the fire comes a phoenix-like story of an estate in Luton, the MARSH farm estate, as reported by the Canary. Well, first, they went knocking on doors and asked each and every one of the 3,200 households what they earned each year, how much they spent and what they spent it on. Through doing that, they realised they weren't really poor. They was just spending money outside of their community. So they came up with an idea. Instead of spending an average of £1 million a year on fast food and another £1 million on mechanics and other spending ways of getting by, they set up local cooperatives on the estate which delivered these services. And then they built a community centre on the estate and turned it into their own little parliament, a place where the community comes together to discuss the problems the estate faces and to develop its own ways of sorting things out on the estate. One example would be litter and fly tipping. Now, according to them, they will save the council money because they don't have a profit motive. They just want to pay the workers a decent wage and get on with the job. Isn't this community in every sense of the word? The media and sometimes the government play on division. We all know that. If there were more communities like this up and down our country, a lot of things would get sorted far quicker. Sometimes we owe it to ourselves to make life better. If we have a Labour government and they honour their pledge to the housing crisis, I feel it may well be a step in the right direction. So can they end the housing crisis? I think they can. They already are the biggest party in Europe now. They have a following. If we all work together, maybe we can build our own little Marsh Farm estate. Do you agree what was said? Are you a member of the Labour Party, and do you think Labour can claw us back out of this hole? Feel free to comment below, and if you have any ideas like Marsh Farm, I'd love to hear them. Any personal questions for me? Place them in the comment box below and start the question with Q&A session. Please do click subscribe and the thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.